All right, good morning everybody. Old Guy Jammin' here. We are going to bias our EVH LBXII 15 watt head. We're going to bias the power tubes today. I'll put a link in the description to the schematic. This is page 1 right here. I've got pulled up. This is page 2. This is the section we're concerned with right here. Page 3 is inputs. It's our power transformer over there and rectifier. So that's our input power stage right there. But this is what we're interested in. Now it's way too small to see. So I'm going to show you how to deal with this. Blow it up first. And then what we'll do is we'll take our snippet tool, which is just a little pair of scissors up here in the top of the Mac display, and you can download Snippet for free. And the section we're interested in is this tube right here and this tube right here. These are our power tubes. So our test point's right here, negative 15.2 volts DC right there between R3 and R40. Now the neat thing about electronics is that any test point that's common you can use. This is a little node. Anytime you have a dot on the two lines in the circuit, that's called a node. But our bias control variable pot is right down. Sorry I'm shaking so much. Variable pot is right there, R37. All right, so we can test right here. We can test at this side of cap 22, C22. We can test at R40 right here. We can test at R3 up here. They're 220K each, which would be a red, red, and yellow band on those little resistors. Excuse me. And we're looking for negative 15.2 VDC. But if you take your snippet tool and block off that area we're interested in, then you can copy that to your clipboard and print just the section you're curious about so that you can see it decently. And then I have this already set up over here. It's horribly out of focus. And gosh darn it. Tell you what, trying to get decent video sometimes is such a pain in the butt. But I have the cap off already. Here I went ahead and cut the schematic out, the section I need, and pasted or taped it to the inside with some notes too. Full power mode, and you do need the speaker plugged in. And I'm going to go ahead and plug in my guitar as well because I want it to be as close to actual playing conditions as possible. All right, so there's the schematic. That's the part we're interested in. And if we look down in here, we have, if the pots, all your adjustments, the dials are on this side. Right down in here, we have the bias resistor. Right there, that little blue square with a slotted screw in the middle. That's going to control the bias. And right there in the middle is R40. So we'll connect a wire to R40, turn the amp on, we'll let it warm up for 5 to 10 minutes, and then we will adjust our bias with our meter, which is right here. Now, when you're doing this sort of thing, I highly advise investing in these little clips that you can attach to something and then they stay right there instead of probing around in here with a probe and adjusting and then testing, adjusting and testing. Just find a nice point and hook this dude on there, and it clips, stays on nice and tight, and then you don't have to worry about shaky hands or hitting the wrong spot. All right. Okay, so I'm going to hook this up and we'll be back in a second. And I haven't put new tubes in because I did buy this unit new and it has JJAEL84s in it already. So I don't feel like I need to put new ones in. But since I'm moving it over to this speaker cab for a while and I'm going to be biasing the Ibanez as well, I wanted to go ahead and get this biased. Put the video up because there's been a lot of questions about how to bias this head.
And it's not that hard. It just takes a little while to find some of these components. So I'm going to be able to bias it and play it and adjust my bias while I'm playing, and I'll show you what happens. 15.2 is the nominal voltage. That's about 70% of what those tubes are capable of putting out. But that I usually like to bias things a little cooler. I think I get a little better crunch out of it and less fizz. Plus your tubes are going to last a little bit longer. But I have no idea where it's set at now, so it's always a good idea to check your bias to make sure it was set at the factory. My Marshall was set too high. There it is. So that was nice to get it fixed. Other things have been too low or too high. So it's a good idea to do your own biasing once you get your stuff. All right, be back in a sec. All right. Okay, we're back. I've got you set up. Literally taped my, rubber banded my phone to my camera tripod. So bear with me. And it's at 15.6. Also, make note of what side of that resistor the clip is on. It's on the side of the resistor away from the knobs. Anyway, we're too hot. So we'll drop that a little bit. And again, this is all really safe if you're just not an idiot. Don't be an idiot. This is pretty... Oh, this is a nice pot. So I'm going the wrong way. And that would should result in a fizzier tone. Let's see. I don't know, that wasn't so bad. Anyway, I'm having to reach around and my head's right in my light. This is less than optimal. So I'm going to go clockwise to bring this back down. And let's go to 14.8, which is 4/10 off 15.2. On my Marshall, I really liked it a little lower. Marshall was a bit fizzy at the nominal voltage. All right, 14.8. So I can't even tell any difference in this. So I'm going to leave it at 14.8. And that it still sounds just as good. I don't know, 15.8, maybe we ought to, 14.8, I mean, maybe we ought to go up to 15. 2/10 below spec. And you could be on this pot all day trying to get it at exactly anything, so don't worry about that. All right, so there we are. We're done. We're biased, and when you do replace these tubes, you want to make sure you get matched sets of EL84s, a matched pair. Just like these here are my EL34s, and they're both 28 tested. You can also pay an extra $1 for a burn-in, 24-hour burn-in. If you want your tubes pre-burnt, when I put new tubes in, I'll often let them sit for several hours during the day. Just leave the thing on after biasing, and then you know you're not going to have a problem. I will also take a pen, and I'll mark in there, which I'll put a dot on what side of that resistor my clip should go on. I'm grounding just over here to a screw that's part of the chassis. And I don't know, it really can't be any easier than that, except that you have to take the bottom plate off. But you guys, be careful. There's not too much that's gnarly on this side of the circuit board. But like I said, don't be an idiot. Know what you're doing. Be careful. Get some of these cool probes, and then you don't have to be in there. Don't have a lot of coffee before you do this, and make sure you get a good night's sleep so you're not shaking. All right, Old Guy Jamming is out. Share it up. Hit that button if you like.